Yes, the World Cup is almost here, it's almost time, but we don't have a great England song to sing. There's been some fantastic ones. New Order, you've got Three Lions, Fat Les, Embrace did a cracking one, but we haven't had one for ages, so we're going to make that change. Here at Bandcraft, we are going to create a new England World Cup song from scratch. Yep, you're going to see me come up with something completely live. Don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm going to show you how I record it, how I lay down all the tracks. Michael's going to do some singing. I'm going to come up with the lyrics. Then you're going to see another video where I'm going to mix it all together, and then we're going to create a nice music video, and you're going to see exactly how we do it. Then we're going to launch it out to the world so that you can sing and cheer, and we can get knocked out on penalties by Portugal or something like that. Right, let's go. So first of all, let me introduce you to what I'm using here. I use Cakewalk, and yeah, I know there's probably better ones out there, but so what? This is what I use. So first of all, we are going to need to have a lovely bit of guitar, obviously. Now I've had a little bit of an idea already of kind of like a riff, a hook, if you like, to get us started off. As with all things, I had it in the idea in the shower, obviously, and it's kind of something like, so I've got a nice meaty tone on there, but I've got something like, something like that. So it's like da da da. So we need it to resolve, we need it to come back around. Right, here we go. Right, so. There you go. So that's a little riff you've got there. Not thinking about lyrics at the moment, but you know, when I'm creating stuff, always have a little bit of a melody going on somewhere it's happening in there. Do, do, do. There you go. It comes back around, doesn't it? Something to get us started off with. So why don't we lay that down? I've got, so little pro tip for anyone who's recording themselves, always have a template on your DAW. I always find it helps. You can see here that I've already got tracks in there, guitar tracks with all of the plugins that I need. I use THU for the guitars. Always use SSL channel strips on each of the channels as well, so that you've got it already there. I've already got bass, I've already got drums, I use addictive drums too, and I've already got them split out as well by the separate channels, and I've got it there. So I can just click open, new track, and I've got this template, bang, you're in. You don't need to be mucking around with any new plugins or anything else like that, because it's already there, you're ready to go. I've got it set on 112 for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe when I saved the template, it was on 112. So let's just keep it. Let's just keep it. Let's just go. Let's lay down this riff. I feel like this could be an intro. Maybe it's probably the main hook for the chorus, I'm guessing. Look, I don't want to spend ages doing this, so let's put this down first. That's something, the wheels in motion, get things oiled and get us started, because that sometimes is the toughest part. Let's just get going. Let's just do something. Now let's see what we can do with some rhythm stuff. Again, let me just open this up for you so that you can see what I've got. So this is what I'm running at the moment. I've got like a plexi thing. It's this pack that I had, a Jeff Beck tone. I've got that on the lead as well, but I've got the clon switched on. Can you get any more English than Jeff Beck? Probably not. Let's keep this as English as we can. But this gives a nice sound. So, now that's only coming out the left because I always double track stuff like you probably should. And I said, you know, it's a template, so that's already there. So this is going to be on the left. We're going to have that on the right. Kind of what I like to do sometimes is when I'm composing stuff, just put the pan in the middle. So you got it in the middle. So we got that middle sound. And then what you can do is if you do multiple takes, then in the comping lanes, you can just take that and chuck it on. Do 2 rounds around because you don't want to be doing left and right the same track because you're just going to essentially get a mono track. And then in the comping lanes, just copy and paste it, little time saving little thing. Right, we've got a nice little sound there. Let's put it on the neck pickup. Always like the neck pickup, especially on this. It does sound, gives a meaty sort of sound. So let's just look at this riff that we've done. I'm going to loop it. You just click on the track, loop it, play it round, see if we can come up with the chords. I was starting up here, so it's probably going to be around G, probably starting on a G. Then we're going up to here, so maybe there's an E's going to be in there somewhere. C and D is going to play a part, I think. But let's play it. Let's see what we come up with. So it's G. Okay, we've got the we're in the realms, I think. Right, maybe we need it a bit more jumpy. Okay, let's try something more, a little bit more. And back to the G. Ah, okay, right. Right. Yeah, there you go. We got a rhythm bit going. Maybe. Right, let's lay that down. Here we go. Ooh, okay. Let's just make sure that we're in time. Yes, love it. Right, let's do one more of those and then we can double track it out. Then what we're going to do, let's take the one before, hold down Shift and Control. That means when you hold down Control and you drag, it does a duplicate. But if you hold down Shift, it keeps it where it was. So if you drag it down, it's not going to move left and right. Then it's muted because the last take will be the unmuted one. But if you press K, then that will unmute it. Like that. So now, if we switch to panning on the left on this track here, and then we got this one's already panned to the right. Let's listen back to it. That's a good starting place. Right, that's a nice little starting point. We've got an intro really quickly. But we're obviously then going to need to go into a verse section. We're going to keep this simple. Don't forget, this is an England song. We want to be everybody to be singing along. So we got to keep it simple. We got an intro. We're going to have a verse, fairly short verse. We're going to have a pre-chorus or bridge, as we used to call it, but a pre-chorus. Then we're going to have a chorus, another verse, probably another chorus and then a little breakdowny bit and into the outro. Why not? Let's keep it simple. Maybe chuck in a solo if we can. So let's concentrate on this verse part because we're going to want to make sure we don't want it all to be loud. We're going to have some, decent lyrics in there. I feel like let's not muck around with the chords too much. Just keep the same chord structure. So it's simple, but maybe it needs to be more of a chuggy kind of sound when it comes into that verse part, I feel like. So we're like this. Maybe it's more like we go or maybe we end on a something like that that's gonna bring it down. We get the lyrics, then we're going to have a pre-chorus section. But probably don't want too many guitars on this part, and we want it to sound different. So maybe we should play it higher up. So if that's a G, we're going to be up here somewhere. So it could be in C. There you go. That sounds different. So it's amazing. You can play the same chords, but depending on where you play it, and sometimes the sound of the guitar as well, it can, to the layperson, it sounds like you're playing something completely different. You're just playing the same chords, but in a different place. It's all to do with vibe and the sound, and obviously the energy that we're going to have on the lyrics as well. So if we're doing... and then we go down and there's a nice... We could probably make it a little bit more... Where are we? We're here. That sounds more interesting to my ears. So it's... Oh no. So we can record it a little bit. We don't need to worry about punching in because obviously we've got nothing else that we're doing here. We can record it and then drag it back to where it needs to be. Go. Go with it. Record that again. Do you know, it is amazing. Sometimes you just get in that flow. I feel like I'm there at the moment. I shouldn't jinx it too much. This is coming together all right, which is good. Sometimes you can sit there for ages and nothing's coming. The music gods haven't bestowed their powers on you, but that's coming. That's actually, it is fairly straightforward. Just bring that into there. Best friend, Control S. Jesus, the amount of times I've lost stuff. Control S, Control S, Control S. Forever and a day, you got to do that. That's our chorus part. Let's keep it simple. But now we've definitely got to have a pre-chorus thing. It's got to be a big chorus. It's an England song, so we're going to have a big sort of chanty, sing-alongy sound. I've got something brewing in there. But we're going to need to have a nice bridge that's gonna take us along. We got a lower down verse. We're gonna have this bridge that's gonna take us up, and then we're gonna smack it in the chorus. Right, let's do that pre-chorus. Right, let's think about this pre-chorus. We can't do the same chords over again, because otherwise that's going to be the entire song. But we can certainly use the same chords, but switch them up a little bit. Maybe bring another chord in. So we're on the G. We're down to the G. So we're on the G. So we're coming down. So C is one of the chords that we're using. So we're going to go, yeah, okay. Little thing that I like, I just like playing a power chord but leaving those extra strings open. Adds a bit of mystery to it, I guess. So if we go, okay. Do we go back down? And we could go to the G, so some. Probably that is we're going to be hanging on the G a little bit too long. So let's bring in another chord. Okay, A minor. Right, so then we're going to go to the A minor. Yes. Back to the C. And then up. Takes us back to the G. Thank you, music lords from above. Yes. Right. Okay, that is something. I've had a couple of coffees, I'm not going to lie. Maybe that's what's helping. So we're down. And then up to the D. Then we're on A minor. And then quick, record it before I forget it. And I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to copy and paste the chorus in there. This is a little bit different. Normally I've been recorded in a band and, you know, you got takes and everything. When you're doing it by yourself, you copy and paste. You can do whatever you want. Well, not whatever you... Yeah, you can do whatever you want. And back into the chorus. Again, let's take that. We're going to take that take. Control and Shift down. K to unmute it. Then if we trim this, so what you can do is hold down Alt and that brings up your trim tool, your scissors there. Then you can delete off the bits that you don't want anymore, highlight both of them, bring them back. I think it's probably going to go straight in, but let's find out. It's a nice little gap there. That might work. Okay, I'm going to sort this structure out, come back, and you'll see it all better. Now, let me show you what I've done. I've tidied a few things up. I re-recorded a little few bits. You obviously don't need to see all of these bits of me doodling around. Let me play you what we've got so far. I also added in the extra choruses and there's a little break bit. Change the rhythm slightly. It's a bit more jumpy. Then we're up on the chuggy bits. Again, a little bit of timing. I'll probably re-record this. Nice little drop out, and then we're into the... So I decided not to put the riff in on the chorus because I feel like that is going to be the melody line for the vocal. But we'll bring it in at the end as kind of like, it, you know, it coming back in and it can play, because you don't want it, I don't want it too much. I want the vocal to be that melody when it comes in. Now, one thing I feel like it needs is in that build-up section, the pre-chorus section, I feel like it needs an extra bit of guitar. I'm feeling like it needs maybe a single string sort of run up or somewhere, so it's on the C. So it goes up, and then we're on the A. As it's going along, let me just play that. I can play along with it. Maybe it needs something more, like a bit more. That might sound more interesting to me. There you go, something like that. Let's lay that down. That might sound interesting. Adds a little bit of... Let's play that back. Okay, all right. Needs to be a bit more in time, but I feel like that's... I'm going to re-record that. Then we want to add some extra guitars into the chorus. So I just re-recorded it so it's a little bit better, and I've added in the second part as well for when the second pre-chorus happens in the song. Let's play this for you now. Let's add in... There's something else there. Yes, okay. Well, another thing that I like to do up here as well is if you hit M, you can put in a marker. So if we just go chorus 1, just so we know where that's coming in, and then we can do another marker here for pre 1, and then we know that the verse is coming in there, so we can go verse 1, just so that you can jump to it each time if you need to, but it's more of a reminder at the top for when we're going to be doing the bass and the drums as well. Before we get into anything else, let's look at adding some extra guitars. You can see this is something that I do quite regularly because it's in my template as this extra chorus. So let's see what sound. We're going to get a different sound going on the guitar as well. I could just go and get another one. I've got one behind me and several others, but no. Let's just change the pickups on this one. Okay. Oh, you probably see this thing that I'm clicking at the top here. This helps with the delay on the plugin. it kind of calculates and helps if there's any latency. And I've got a little bit of latency because I'm recording on this. And now when you're doing this, when you're layering in guitars, probably again, it makes sense to do it in a different place. So I'm not going to be doing, I'm going to need to play somewhere else. I can play it up here if I want to, but I feel like maybe if I just go all the way up to the top here, we're using the fattest strings, giving us the fattest sound. And then go down like that, I reckon is probably what I want to do. So I just switched up the sound on this a little bit. I've got this vintage Brit sound that's maybe just a little bit more. Little bit different. Let's record some extra guitars, starting up high. It's got sort of a fuzzy sound to it. Right, and then we can split that over the other track like that. And then what does this sound like? It should meet it up quite a bit. Got that a bit loud, let's turn that down. There you go, you got a bit more of a meaty sound again. Possibly I'll put another one over. I'm not going to bore you with that because it's going to be very similar chords as well. Right, I'm going to go away and add these other parts into the rest of the song, which is done now. So I've gone away, I've added in these extra guitars into here, I actually re-recorded them, and they're in on the choruses. Let me play this for you now. It's just adding that meat. It's just added in that little bit of extra. Obviously in the mix we'll play with all of that. Now what I also added in was this little outro-y bit of the first chorus as well. Let me play this for you. It's like a ticka as it were. Then I was thinking that will take us back in to the second verse. Now, something also happened whilst I didn't have the camera rolling, is I was just mucking around with a little bit of a solo at the end. I did something, spur of the moment, recorded it, didn't have the camera going, and I'm going to play it for you now because I quite like what I did. So this is going to be the outro. There's a breakdown section here. I don't quite know what's going to go there yet. Maybe it's just lyrics. And then we come back in, and then I've got this bit where we're going to come back in, then it's going to be outro. Let me play it for you. Listen to the riff that I've put on there. Imagine this is the chorus. Then we got the riff playing at the end. It's all building up. And listen out for this. I think the music gods are smiling on me today because that just came out my fingers by accident, and I've never actually played the national anthem before, and I don't even know if it's the right notes. It kind of sounds like it is. So we've got the main structure down there. Let's add in these extra guitars into the end part, and then let's do some bass. Right, so I had a quick little break. We got some coffee on the go. That is going to fuel us forwards. And now we're going to do some bass. I'm not a bass player. I'm a guitar player that plays bass. There is a very big difference, especially if you speak to a bass player. They're like, oh, no. And also, this is a crappy old bass. I think it cost me 70 quid. I got it off someone on Facebook Marketplace, and the E string really buzzes on this bottom fret. It's like it's virtually touching the bottom fret. It needs a bit of work, but hey ho, let's go with it. Let me just quickly explain how I record. I always have two tracks. I have the DI, and then I have the guitar amp sim, or bass guitar amp sim, I should say. Let me show you what I've got here. I've got a little bit of a compressor at the start, and then I've got this super tube into a bass cabinet, which I think sounds really good. And the reason why I have the DI is, I'll show you a little trick that I have, is I like to keep the lows low and then the mids separately. So this is on the guitar amp, which I want more of the mid to high frequencies to live at. So I've got a filter on this, and then I'm doing the opposite way on just the DI. This here, again, in my template, I always have this on. The kick drum is side chained to this, so that every time the kick drum hits, it's going to dip out at around about 50 to 60 hertz, which is where the kick sound sort of lives. It's going to dip it out so that you get more of a kick punch, and then it just quickly comes back in so that you've got the sound to come back in. But it's not dipping the overall volume of the bass guitar, it's just dipping the frequency. So I'm just going to record using the DI in so that we don't worry about any latency or anything else like that. But I'm setting the record on both tracks, but I'm just listening back on the DI that's coming in. Let's give this a record and see what we can do. Wow, I've got that really quickly. Normally I've been faffing around that for ages, but maybe because I've been playing the whole thing through, that I just managed to find that. Now we've got the pre-chorus section that's going to be a little bit different. But rather than doing any punch in and punch out, let's just fast forward to the next pre-chorus section here. I can record it. I'm going to be copying and pasting this stuff across anyway. So let's just go from here, and then we're on the C. And then A. Do we need to go up? No, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there, I think. Right, let's just give this a record. Let's see what that sounds like. And then we're back in. Let's keep it as simple as that. Do we need to do anything more complicated? I don't think so. I think in that drop out section, the breakdown section that we've got, we're probably just, I'm hearing chants, I'm hearing crowd noises. Let's just keep it simple. I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm not going to show you that because that's boring. But when you come back, it's going to be done. So right, it's getting on a bit now. Like with most things, when you're creating music, you just sort of get stuck in it. I wish I'd done a timer so you can see how long I spent doing this. The bass is all there. I've got all the structure of everything. Then I started doing the drums, and I do like to spend a bit of time on the drums. And I didn't want to bore you showing you absolutely everything that I did, but let me explain, and I'm going to play you the sections that I've put in. So what I like to do, I use Addictive Drums too, and in there you have banks. Well, I've got in mine, let me show you in this beat section. So there's beats, or sort of pre-made beats, and you can choose, like, there's loads of them, and you can buy extra packs and whatever else. I highly recommend, like, if you're getting into this, splashing out for something light, it doesn't have to be this one, there's cheaper ones and there's free ones, but a decent drum plugin that's got different beats that you can just select from, I highly recommend, because it speeds up your progress so much even when you're just doing sort of scratch or demo tracks. You want the groove, it might not be the final drum, but you want to get that across. Now, what I did was I found the beats that I like, I picked the drum kit that I liked. I've already got in, as part of my template, certain things. I'll go through this in the mixing video, but I've already got things like the drum room. I use the Sound City drum plugin. I've got the snare room sound. I've got a little bit of mixing that I always have on these. But what I want to do is just talk you through what I've got. I'm doing a full sort of, proper drum kit, but I am thinking that maybe the song, so it's a little bit more energetic and easy, and feel like I might do more of an electronic drum over this. Maybe if it's just a kick, that's more of a proper thud over this. But I'm not going to show you me doing that now, because it's just going to be me fanning about this thing for ages. So let me just show you this first section first. So this is the intro. These are the drums that I've got. Let me just solo the drums to start off with so you can hear them. So it's a very live, open sound. So what I did was I chose the drum beats that I like, and then I go in and change them. So I would say it's probably 75%, or maybe a little bit lower than that, the actual original drums, and then I just tweak. It's usually the end fills or the middle little fill bits, the start and the ends, that I usually tweak, and the main guts of the beat is what's already there. I did add in the tom part for the pre-chorus that you're going to hear. So let's play this along with the main track. I'm going to let it play all the way through to the pre-chorus so that you can hear. Very standard. We're bringing it down a little bit simpler for where there's going to be obviously lyrics that's going to be in here. Added in that tom. This is the pre-chorus that we're going to be building up. And we're getting there, and we're getting there. Open cymbals, open hat. And then back in. So we've got a fairly straightforward drum beat. I don't think it needs to be any more complicated than that. And then I've added it throughout the track. The whole thing. I don't need to play you the whole thing. So maybe what I'll do is I'll play you the breakdown section, because I have got the drums going throughout there, but they've got that tom in there. Let me play you coming out of the chorus, the last chorus, second to last chorus, if you like, going into the breakdown section, so you can hear the drums on that. I feel like there's going to be some sort of chanting or something here. And then I added this little bass part that's going to come back in. And then that takes us into the final outro. I feel like we can probably do something just that, you know, you want to break it up, you want little chanty bits, and then right at the end, I've got the final part. A nice ending, 3 minutes 30. What more do you need? 3 minutes 25. What more do you need? So I feel like that's the main guts of the track. Michael's going to be doing the singing on it, but we do need to come up with some lyrics. So let's do some lyrics now, and then you can hear me try and fumble my way through singing, and there's a reason why I get other people to sing. So next we're going to have to come up with some decent lyrics, I suppose. You can put lyrics straight into Cakewalk, and I think there's a function where you can get it to follow along. Don't know how that works, but we're going to use it as sort of a notepad. Let's think about what the song's got to be. I've got an idea of a melody. It's going to follow the main hook line that we did on the guitar. And I've kind of got an idea. We're going to have it. It's got to be about the pain that it is to be an England fan. You know, what we've been through before, where we are now, what it's like. And I want like a whoa, kind of whoa, sort of in it. Again, don't judge me on my singing, because it's terrible, but we'll get the idea, and we'll get someone else to sing it better. Michael will sing it better. So let's start off with this chorus. It's got to be easy for everybody to sing as well. So I feel like whoa, 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 and then, you know, when you're England, when you support England. Whoa, let's type it in. Let's type it. How do you type in whoa? Okay, whoa, 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 oh, oh, and oh, whoa, oh, 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 oh no. So we want whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, and then that's when you're England. That's what. Oh, that's what it's like when you support. It's what it's like when you're England. Whoa, oh, that's what it's like when you're England. Let's go with it. Let's get it in. Okay, that's what it's like. Do you know, it's good that I'm recording this, because usually when I'm doing lyrics and stuff, I forget it. That's what it's like when you're England. Then we give it another one. Whoa. Maybe we need it to rhyme with it. We should have some rhyme. That's what it's like when you're England. Whoa. Oh. Let's get the goal, England. Let's right. Let's get it right, England. I tell you, the gods. Even though it has been ages, I've been here for a long time. Let's get it right. And you got to have an England, haven't you? England. Let's play it along with the track. Let's see. Okay. Whoa. Oh, that's what it's like when you're England. Oh, let's get it right, England. Control and S on that all day long. So let's look at the verse now. So let's look at so we know that chorus is going to be the same in that chorus there. Just keep it like that, and we might as well have that for the outro as well. We decide what we're going to do for the breakdown bit in a minute. So verse. So we're saying this is what it's like. This is what it's like when you're England. But what is it like when you're an England fan? Can be tough. But maybe, so we should talk about what happened, you know, what has it been like? What has it been like? Okay, so what has it been like? Let's think back to the greatest moments. 1996, Gazza's goal against Scotland, where he almost scored against Germany. We should definitely, when he just missed. So we definitely have that. What other great things? Beckham, the Greece free kick. Obviously that needs to go in as well. We've got Lampard when he was disallowed the goal. We've got Sol Campbell when he should have scored in that 2004 against Portugal. And of course, when we got beaten by Italy at Wembley, and we definitely should have won there. So let's start off though. 96, Gazza should have scored. What's the melody going to be like? Let's just play it so that we can have a listen. So let's go. Do 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 do. It's kind of already coming out of the song. You can already hear it. The bass is kind of already bringing that out. Maybe it's like I was there in 1996. I was there in 96. I was there. Okay, right. So I was there. I always like to, when you're coming up with lyrics, you know, it's coming up with that theme that it's got. So I was there in 96. Because I was. So I was there in 96. I was there in 96. Do. Let's just put that in. I was there in, I'll write it out. I was there in 96. What did we see? Gazza almost score. Gazza almost score. Almost goal. Saw Gazza's almost goal. Because it was. I was there in 96, saw Gazza's almost goal. Does that go? 6, saw Gazza's almost goal. So then what was next? What else did Beckham, let's do it. Oh, we can do it in time order, going up. Yes, okay. So I was there in 96. We've got 2001 with the Greece free kick. But in 1998, Beckham also got sent off against Simeone when he kicked out. So, and then I was there in 98. I was there in 98. Beckham got sent off. Beckham 90, not 90. Come on, man. 98. When Bex kicked Simeone, when Bex kicked. I was there in 98. I was there in 96. Saw Gazza's almost goal. I was there in 98. When Bex kicked. Hate. He got really hated afterwards. Because he got sent off. When Bex. And got the hate. I was there in 98. When Bex kicked and got the hate. Oh, yeah. That's why we love songwriting, right? When it clicks. When you get it. When Bex kicked and got the hate. But then, so the Freak 01, 2001. I was there in 01. We got through because of Beckham's freak. When we got through. I was there when Bex kicked and got the hate. I was there in 01. When we got through. Oh, this is the end. When we got through. What rhymes through? Shoe. Due. When we get what's due. When we get through, what are we due? We're due a time, we're due a cup, right? Surely we're due a cup. I'll be there. Oh, and I'll be there when, okay, so we're saying we was there, and we're saying I'll be there when we get what's due. There you go. It's just falling out now. There in 01 we got through, and I'll be there again when we get what's due. Yes! Right, pre-chorus. So we need, let's remind ourselves of what that sounds like. I feel like we need something that's repeating. I don't know, I quite like it, especially chanty stuff. This has got to be easy for people to remember so that they can sing it. So it's got to be chanty, it's got to be, you know, like, hey. So maybe we're like, when we, what do we do? When we win, when we lose, when we draw, we'll be there, we'll be there. Yeah, we're always there for England, right? We're there when we win, when we lose, when we draw. We don't want to go up too high. Because I literally cannot sing, and that means other people can't sing it as well. We want to repeat it. When we lose, 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 when we win, and we win, and we win, we draw, when we draw, when we draw, and then when we lose, when we lose, when we lose. But what is it? We go, we're there, we go, we're always going to the foot. So we go, when we lose, 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 and we lose, and we lose, and we lose. Oh, okay, so maybe we lose, and we lose, and we lose. And we win, and we win, and we win, and we win. We go! Draw, and we draw, and we draw, and we draw. We go! We lose, and we lose, and we lose, and we lose. We go! Okay, when we lose, and we lose, and we lose, and another one, and we lose, 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 we go! And then when we win, and we win, and we win, and we win. I'll just repeat. We win, and we win, and we win, and we win. When we win, and we win, and we win, and we win, we go. And then when we draw, we're still going to go. We go. We just do lose, because we do. When we lose, and we lose, and we lose, and we lose. And then there's that, we go. Right, let's give it a go. Forgive my terrible singing, but let's give it a go. I was there in 96, saw Gaz's almost goal. I was there in 98, when Bex kicked and got the hate. I was there in 01, when we got through, and I'll be there again when we get what's due. When we lose, and we lose, and we lose, and we lose, we go! And we win, and we win, and we win, and we win. We go! And we draw, and we draw, and we draw, and we draw. We go! And we lose, and we lose, and we lose, and we lose. We go! Whoa! Oh, that's what it's like when you're England. Terrible. Whoa! Oh, let's get it right. England! I'm sorry for that. It's terrible. So bad. So we're going to need another verse. Verse 2. So we want to carry on from what we was doing in that first part. I was there, and we already said, what did we say before? Campbell, should have scored. All right, so that was 04. I was there in 04 when Campbell should have scored. And I was there in 04 when Campbell should have scored. It goes, and then Lampard, that was the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. So, and I was there in 2010 when Lampard, what happened? Not he should have scored. Was robbed. Again, oh it rhymes, was robbed again. Okay, I was there in 04 when Campbell should have scored, and I was there in 2010 when Lampard was robbed again. The last one, I was there, it was COVID Cup, because it was moved a year. The COVID Cup. And I was there at the COVID Cup when we lost. No, we should have won. Kind of got away from us, slipped away. There at the COVID Cup when it slipped away. So at the end of that first one, we get what's due, and then we could say when it slipped away something one day, when we win one day, when it slipped to, no, I've got to do one more, and I'll be there once again, when we win one, the trophy. We haven't said anything about trophies. What do you do with a trophy? We lift day, when we lift it one day. When we lift it one day. Not sure what you're going to do about the breakdown section. I think that's the lyrics. I'm going to send these over to Michael. So that's it. You saw me create something from scratch. I don't know how long it's been. I'm scared to look at my watch. It's now dark outside. But that's it. I created the song from scratch. You saw me do it. I've come up with some lyrics that may need tweaking a little bit. May need to re-record some stuff and whatever else. Michael's going to do the singing, and then I'm going to put it all together. We're going to do a nice mix, and I'm going to show you how I do that mix with all of the tracks in there. And then we're going to do a music video for this as well. And hopefully, when it comes out, you can give it a listen and share it all over the world for England. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Check out all of our other videos that we've got on Bandcraft. We do react videos to brand new music we haven't heard before. We've got a ton of videos on there. We've also got a mix breakdown on a song that I did for a band that we featured that we felt needed some help, White Noise Machine. Go and check out, that's a full in-depth breakdown of how I mix a track. But for now, I think this is it. Until I see you again, come on England!